What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing end of era Barzagli 90 rated. In general, I didn't really see this card popping up now. Obviously, I suppose it is kind of a nice time for him to come up. Not really much content going on, so quite a nice card to get. 90 rated centre back from Juve. Obviously, you could pair him with Chiellini, Perrin in net, and then obviously the really nice link you can get is the 89 rated Florenzi, and then also you got the 89 rated Cancelo as well. Very nice links around him, so I think that's what makes him a little bit more desirable than some of the other end of eras. Obviously you can link him with a few other Italian players like Scream, Verratti, and then obviously some icons as well that you can get, Maldini being one of them. So looking at him, looking at the SBC first, what is it, 260k on the Xbox, 260k on the PlayStation as well. Relatively decent price, to be honest. I can't really complain at that. 90 rated centre back. If you was to put him into an SBC, they can't just expect it to be 100k, 200, just under 200k, as I think then you're looking at really low requirements for such a high rated card. I think 260 is probably about right for him, compared to obviously all the other SBCs they've brought out. 285 rated teams, 2 informs needed for one of them, as well as a Juve player, and then the other one is just a 1 minimum Italian player. So very easy SBCs, to be honest. What you want to do really is stick away from Serie A, as, to be honest, they're going to get a little bit more expensive than possibly using Ligue 1 or the Bundesliga, where there's not really any SBCs out for them at the minute. The Bundesliga may be one that you want to do now rather than kind of wait a couple of days, as I know the Bundesliga Player of the Month should be out very soon. I'm not too sure when, but I know that they're taking votings for it, so no doubt that will be coming at very soon, to be honest. It must be. So be sure to watch that, because that will rise the prices. Pretty much good SBCs anyway, very easy. 80k packs back, so that would give you a value of say 180 without the with the packs taking the coins off. Obviously you can get someone good, you can get someone trash, that's just how it goes. So moving on to Barzagli himself. 2-star skiller, 3-star weak foot, right-footed 6'2" with a high defensive work rate and a low defensive work rate. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Relatively big defender, high defensive work rate, really rate that. That's good. Weak foot's free. I'll take that, to be honest, for a centre-back. Looking at some of the stats, if I just take the chemistry style off him, 89 sprint speed, really nice boost on his sprint speed. 99 jumping, marking, strength. I think that's all the 99s. Then he's got 95 standing tackle, as well as 92 composure. He's got some very nice stamina. What am I going with? Very nice stats. It's because I want to talk about the stamina. Some good stats all around the board. Heading accuracy is a bit low, but a shadow can definitely can cure that, basically. The main issue with him, 64 stamina is a huge decrease. And to be honest, I really don't get how, if it's an end of era, why not just boost it up a little bit? He's a 90 rated card. Put it to 75, put it to 70 at the least. I just think 64 is very low compared to a lot of these 90 rated cards. I get that he's an older player, and that may contribute to the fact that his stamina might be lower, and he's not really the most, I don't know, he doesn't really play as much as more as he used to anyway, but 64 is a bit low. So when you do get to the 80s, the 90 minutes, he is gasping for air, and I must admit that is a bit of a turn off for him. You can sub him off, obviously. You can do whatever you want with him at half time, or I'd recommend 70th minute. Just keeping fresh legs on if you've got a centre back and your kind of up front is relatively decent. I just think that's well worth it. You don't want a centre back that's absolutely shattered. You probably could get away with game on game, but to be honest, if you're not using any other fitness teams and using fitness cards, I'd just watch the second match especially. Obviously starting on that less fitness, he's going to be the one that takes the real hit with that. Maybe even if you whack just a one single player fitness every time with him, that potentially could solve that quite easily, because he can do the whole game. Like, I'm not saying that he's literally going to be unplayable by the 70th, 80th minute, but you want to just make sure, especially in that second game, that you're not overusing him too much. apart from that, the stats are pretty gleaming. Looking at what chem style you'd use, I'd probably go for the Shadow, to be honest. Really bump up that pace to 94, and that defending is a nice crisp 97 with 81 heading accuracy and everything else being 99. I think that's a really nice kind of chem style to whack on him. You still get the benefits of it. If used to whack Anchor, you get exactly the same, but sliding tackle will be 96, and you'd get 10 extra aggression, which would be 90. So for me, the physical aspect of him really doesn't need any work, as you can't get any stamina, you can't just increase it at all, so you'd only be able to get up aggression, as the other two stats are 99. Apart from that, Catalyst will get you up to 73 passing, 92 pace. Then if you wanted to do, I'm trying to think, because realistically I'd like that little bit of extra pace, and really the only one that does it is Shadow, as I think Anchor's just a waste when you don't really need it, because you're just asking for less pace and then getting the same amount of defending but only increasing the aggression. I think the pace is much more worth it in this card, and going for that Shadow would be my best bet. So what's good about this card? What's bad about this card? Well, we've already kind of touched on the stamina. It isn't too much of an issue, so I don't want anyone thinking, like, obviously just because he's got 64 is completely unplayable, but it does have a factor. If you've got someone with 80 stamina and you've got someone with 64 stamina, I can tell you right now, I know who's going to last the match and who's going to struggle more. But obviously, like I said, if you keep on top of him, that can be maintained at a good level. Defensively, absolutely solid. Really, really strong tackle. Very, very composed on the ball, which I like. Pace-wise, does feel a little bit slower than 83. I must admit, if you're going just with the basic, doesn't feel really fast. It does feel a little bit sluggish, so that's always something to kind of counteract. And to be honest, Bobby Moore felt like that to start with for me, his prime moment, and he had less pace. But now you kind of get in the rhythm of how to play with him and where you want to put him into a position. If you're like me, personally, I like to kind of control one defender and let AI do the rest, and just kind of like scout out the zones of where they're going, making that pass, and trying to intercept it. That's how I like to play, and it's perfect with a player like Barzagli, as he may not run the fastest, but what you want to do is you want to take control of him and really just keep him cautious. Don't run in with him, because as soon as you do that, he's gone, and he's not going to catch anyone like Neymar or Messi. They're going to be gone, and they're going to be through on goal if he's last man, or you're going to have to hope that your defender can be one-on-one with these players. So for me, holding on with him and basically manually defending with him is much more of a better tactic for me. Personally, if I don't do it, I do find him constantly going out of position sometimes. Obviously, it's my lunges as well, going forward, kind of panic defending, and it is my problem as well. But it is a known factor that obviously some players do that and they get back. Personally, with Puyol, I've done it many a times. Marcelo, Florenzi, obviously at a different caliber there, being left back and right backs, but they do get back if you do that. So for me, Barzagli has that little bit of a pace issue for me. Not too much you can get around that. Obviously, I didn't put a shadow on him, but I can just imagine how good that shadow will be with him. It's going to be incredible, because I think that will really boost up his pace, and the defensive side of him is absolutely phenomenal. Really, really high-end stats. Great jumping, always winning the ball, and then obviously with his strength, is very, very nice to have on the ball, because then that combines with his composure as well. Passing wise, very average. Obviously, I'm not expecting him to be the next Messi of passing, but it's average, it's nice, it's good enough for me for a centre-back. It's not quite, say, Van Dijk's standard or Varane, but it's a nice level for you to be able to pass the ball out with him. So, in general, I think he's a nice card. Whether I'd actually do him, probably not, being so close to team of the season, and the fact that probably one of like Chiellini's going to get one, or someone along them lines are going to get a 90 rated, and it's probably going to be around about 200k, as we know team of the season always drops from the amount of packs that happen, and I really think that would be much more worth it than getting an untradeable right before team of the season and probably using him a couple of times and then that's it. For me, that's just my opinion. If you are like, say, a Juve fan, Barzagli, Italian fan, and this has some more emotional value to it, go and do it. I think the SBC is priced well, 80k pack back, brilliant. I love that. That's always standard. And to be honest, the requirements are pretty easy. 2 informs is very simple. And then obviously the Juve player, Cuadrado, is easy enough. Pjanic is another one. And then obviously with the Italian, I went personally to choose Verratti as, again, out of the league, out of the kind of open eye, and he's an 86. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to do him down below. I'm going to give him an overall rating of a 8 out of 10. For me, I just don't think he scratches that surface to the meta real top players, but I still think he's definitely worth having a go. Even if you do the loan team, to be honest, ATV rated, very, very bog standard and very, very easy to do. So let me know what you think. Make sure you like this video if you did enjoy. If you're new around here, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.